Cherry Creek traveled to California powerhouse Santa Margarita and was able to pick up the dub. This year, the Eagles make the trip to the Rocky Mountains to visit the Bruins under the lights. It's the Eagles and the Bruins next on the Cherry Creek Sports Network.
It didn't look like it earlier this afternoon, but here we are in Greenwood Village, Colorado, and we're getting ready for the Cherry Creek Bruins and the Santa Margarita Eagles. Benjamin Paris alongside Matthew Anderson. Crazy afternoon, can I say?
Weather's been all over the place this afternoon. Just noon today, it was bright and sunny. Then some 2 hours later, it was a thunderstorm, lightning, absolutely torrential rain, and now here we are again, a beautiful and lovely night for football.
What a chaotic afternoon after the tornado warnings in the Arapahoe County area. But we made it to Friday night, and we're back under the lights for week 2 after the Bruins opened it up last week with a big win over Doherty. What can you say about that one?
That was a good opening game for Creek. They are not going to have such an easy time with Santa Margarita tonight. Santa Margarita is a bigger team. They are a more physical team, and Creek has got their hands full tonight, much unlike how they had their hands not full with Doherty.
So let's meet the Santa Margarita Eagles just real quick a little bit. They're from California, ranked 38th in the state, and California is just a football powerhouse.
Right. 38th in the state in California is exceptionally good. That's roughly equivalent to 2 in Colorado. So these teams are really evenly matched in their state.
So Santa Margarita opened up their season August 23rd, and they played again a week later on the 30th. They start 1-1, and their game margins have been 11 points and somewhere around 20, 19 to be exact. So they've had some margins of victories and losses, but they've also played some very strong teams out there in California.
Yeah, Santa Margarita has a much rougher schedule than Creek really has. When they play teams in California, they're playing top-ranked teams in California, which are generally better than the top-ranked teams in Colorado. So they get practice against much better teams, and Creek is gonna be one challenge facing Creek tonight.
And when these two teams played last year, the Bruins made the trip out to California, and they had a strong showing. They were barely coming away with that game with the one-score margin.
Yeah, it was just 21-14 last year. It was narrow, but it was away, so Creek does have the home field advantage tonight, so sort of extrapolating on what happened last year, we would expect this game to be once again very close. But there was that one touchdown difference between Creek and Santa Margarita last year.
So for those of you at home who happen to care, the national rankings for these teams would be 339 for Santa Margarita and 524th. These are the, once again, national rankings here for high school football, but it's just a lot of good teams that play football.
Absolutely, and both of these teams have top college recruits. Just recently, Creek announced a new running back recruit to Air Force down in Colorado Springs, and Santa Margarita has 2 top recruits in California and Nevada. So these teams are, for some of the first times ever, having a chance to, these great college recruits are having a chance to play against other great college recruits.
So the stage is set, and we are ready to get ready for football. Here come our Bruins. And here come the Cherry Creek Bruins for week 2 of their season. The 2019 campaign off to a hot start, and they're going to try to continue the momentum tonight.
Yep, Revenge Tour 2019.
Always one of the most, anytime you play a team that's out of state, always one of the most anticipated games of the season. I'm sure this one is, as Centennial League isn't, you could say, the strongest league in the nation.
No. And, this is anticipated by, Cherry Creek fans alike. We have, a pretty good turnout tonight from high schoolers, even though just, a couple of hours ago it was torrential hail. So we're looking good for tonight.
Ready to get after it. The stage is set. The fans are ready. So are we. And do you know who won the kickoff?
Looks like Santa Margarita is going to go out for the kickoff here, and Creek will return.
So Creek will get the ball to start the game. And here we go. We are underway. As the Bruins come back across to the 30. He's out to the 40 and now across to the 50. Down the other side. Down to the 20, the 10, the 5, and he scores a touchdown, a kick return on the opening play of the game. If you can't say hot start, I don't know what that is.
That's going to be number 3, Miles Purchase. He's been electric all season in the defensive back position, but man, that was a return for the ages.
Can you believe that? And just like that, just 13 short ticks into the ball game, the Bruins already up by a touchdown. Can you? Unbelievable. With the 7 And after the miscue that started off last week's game with the snap going over Julian Hammett's head, I'm sure the Bruins are a lot of improvement with that start from last week.
This is certainly a stark contrast to last week. Last week, we saw the first drive really off to a weak start on Creek's part. You mentioned first play, ball went way over Julian Hammond's head, and then rest of the drive was a couple of third downs, fourth down conversions that were really more risky than anything. So this is definitely a major contrast to what we saw last week, and definitely something that Dave Logan is happy with.
And something last week that came into a play for on both sides of the ball was there was just a lot of penalties this week. I'm sure they talked about it in practice, but something that they're trying to minimize this week.
Yeah, Dave Logan really emphasized error-free, perfect football. No mental mistakes. So that really does include penalties, which is something that killed Creek a lot last week. Killed Doherty too, but Creek too. And they can't be affording to make those mistakes this year, this game.
So just 13 seconds into the game, Santa Margarita will take their first drive of the game as he's met right before the 20. And special teams have been almost pretty much perfect this far.
.100-yard kick return, a perfect PAT, and now a stop before the 20. Creek is off to a hot start with special teams.
Puts one in motion next to him. He'll snap back and give it to the person in motion as he's tackled for maybe a gain of just a few inches. Creek well defended there.
Santa Margarita might be feeling the heat a little bit already. That's a little bit of an atypical play call for them on an opening drive. All their previous play calls this season on the opening drive have been a simple run play. So it's unique and kind of shows maybe they're getting a little bit late.
Oh, yeah. Someone who's thrown for 207 yards. Much more of a run team than a pass team in Santa Margarita seems to be. But at the same time, they just haven't put up a lot of points.
Yeah, their yards per game thus far this year has not been exactly what they were looking for. I believe it was about 100 yards passing, which is far below the national average, even though this team is much higher ranked nationally than average. Their passing this team is, again, ranked far above average nationally.
So 2nd and 2 as that runs straight up the middle for Santa Margarita. As they're just going to try to give it same thing as last week, just try to do the same thing a lot. So another run here, try to go down the middle, find some space. And we'll come up for a short gain. So here we are with 3rd and 2. Got to convert here. Receivers at the bottom of your screen. 30 short, these teams typically like to a lot on offense last week that we assumed was to not give away too much of their playbook. How much do you think they'll rely on that play this week?
I actually think they're going to be relying on that quite a bit. We'll talk about it more when Creek lines up for offense, but they have a lot for them coming at the defensive line for Santa Margarita.
So Santa Margarita sets up with a 1st and 10 on their own 42, as looks like Creek will bring the blitz as they do, and they get to the quarterback for the sack.
That is going to be number 43, Nathaniel Mariska, the sack.
So a loss of 9 there will set up 2nd and 19 on the 33. So 3 wide receivers will come out bunched on the bottom. Looks like they're trying to isolate something as it is the run out here to the near side. What looks like a big hit there. Purchase brought the hit there. It's going to set up 3rd and 10 as they got almost all they lost back on that one. So on 3rd and long, the Bruins going to try to get a big stop here, try to get that ball back. Snap it, they get into the pocket again, and it's intercepted. Down to the 10, and he is a pick 6, but there is a flag down on the 34-yard line. I think this one is coming back.
I'll tell you how upset Dave Logan will be if that flag comes back on Creek. He really tried to... Okay.
So the touchdown is good. So the Creek offense hasn't even stepped onto the field, and they're already about to be up 14-0 as they've gotten a pick six and a kick return for a touchdown. How about that? 8:20 left, 8:21 left here in the first.
Not even 10% into the game, and Creek is already up by 2 scores.
Man, that Creek offense, they're getting a lot of rest. They better come out fast now if they ever get a chance to come out onto the field.
Well, the Santa Margarita defense is also getting a lot of rest. And they are a strong, strong defense, and Creek is going to have a tough time with them. So just as much rest as Creek gets, so does Santa Margarita's defense. So, you know, it's sort of a double-edged sword there.
So Miles Purchase will be credited with both these touchdowns as he gets the pick six and the kick return. Guy's a machine.
Guy's a machine, and colleges are certainly realizing that. I'm not sure exactly because Miles hasn't clarified, but he's received quite a few offers already.
But something else that Miles might be thinking about is those basketball offers as well. Nice and high will be received at the 20 as the Creek defense will come down fast again and will stop it before the 20. And this Creek team just looks a lot faster than they did last week. I mean, had to have had a great practice week. The short screen pass there.
That's going to be the same unconventional play call twice in a row.
And that's going to be a gain of right around 1 as he was forced out of bounds. So the 2nd and 8 as this Santa Margarita offense hasn't been too productive yet, as it looked like they might have been at the beginning as they converted a few plays to get some first downs, but pick six is really the only story that they can say about that drive. So everybody's waiting for 2nd and 8 play action. Another short pass there. And a big hit there. Bruins really bringing it tonight. And something interesting in this Santa Margarita huddle is that they have their wide receivers actually line up at their spots, and they're not actually in the huddle. It looks like the Bruins are looking to blitz again, as it looked like it was a zone. As that pass is thrown away out of bounds. And it is 4th and 5. So unless Purchase does something absolutely phenomenal here by returning 2 kick returns and getting a pick six, it looks like that Creek will finally have their first chance at offense. of bounds. So here comes the Cherry Creek offense. So as we finally get a look at this Cherry Creek offense, what are going to be the keys of the game, Matthew?
Well, there are going to be 3 main keys to the game, and the first is physical play. This team is a very physical team. They are a big team. Their defensive line is a couple of dogs. They are big, they are strong, and they are fierce. And Creek is going to need to play physical if they are going to want to compete with them.
First snap of the game, it looks like a nice screen to the near side as a tackle is broken and a short gain of about 3 there over to Chase Petty. So the Bruins are going to try to build some momentum and set a pace now on the offensive side of the ball.
Number 5, James Walker on the play for the Bruins. Tackle number 44, Anthony Minstrel.
The Bruins will have 3rd and 4, so first 3rd down conversion of the game will be coming up. Through the first quarter.
Julian Hammond's pass completes number 6, Chase Petty. Force out of bounds by number 18.
And it does not look like he'll come up with the first down. So as Creek makes some personnel changes, it looks like, just like they did last week, they'll be going for it on 4th and short.
And this has really so far, we've seen a major part from Creek here. They're trying to get the ball out into open space, and that's our 3rd key of the game tonight. They have been trying to get the ball out on screens and on runs. Looks like they're going to have an up-the-center heavy run here.
As they get through to about the 20, as they just try to force it in there, as Stacks will pick up the first down. So Dave Logan really likes to gamble here.
Well, that's number 2, Jay Lee Stacks, and he is already committed to the Air Force as a running back. He is a big, strong running back, and I think Dave Logan doesn't mind gambling on a big guy like him.
And, of course, that announcement as of earlier this week.
The announcement that Seamus Henderson was the Creek's number 1 on the depth chart for running backs, which has really demanded Jay Lee Stacks step up here, and he definitely can handle it.
So the Bruins will take their first time out of the game. And while the Bruins take a timeout, we'd like to thank our sponsors over at Stafford Orthodontics. And at Drive Safe. Make sure on the lookout for our social media tonight, as Drive Safe will be presenting the drive of the game. And I believe Stafford has signature moments. So make sure to be on the lookout on our Twitter at Cherry Creek SN. You can get excited for that. We'd like to first maybe the sponsors who make this all possible. First and second for the Bruins on the 20.
Just trying to utilize their space. They know they have a tough match. matchup with the D-line, so they're running a pitch play. They're trying to get to the outside of the D-line.
And just got a little eager as the false start is called. And let's see what they line up here. 1st and 15.
Move themselves out of the red zone with that one.
So as Hammond will hand it off, Bruins will try to get the 5 back that they lost. So on this 2nd and long play, I think the Bruins are trying to take a shot. As he will get the ball again inside the 10 to the 5 and in for the score. There's that strong running back you're talking about. As up and good.
Special teams has been out for just as many plays tonight as the offense. Just a testament to Creek's efficiency tonight.
So just 5:15 left here in the first. The Bruins jump out to the early lead as they did last week, and you really hope that this game can be competitive as Santa Margarita will take that one up through the middle and gets across the 25.
Kickoff return by
Certainly something else to mention. Their defense is a little bit better than their offense. They have quite a few draft recruits.
Yeah.
For their defense. Their offense isn't as good. They're still, a top nationally ranked offense, but their defense has gotten them through a lot of this. However, Santa Margarita has 2 burner wide receivers, wicked fast, and top college recruits in Nevada and California. So these guys might be Santa Margarita's out tonight.
So it looks like he's going to drop back to pass as the pocket is collapsing, and the sack is made.
Marcus Alexander. Number 44. Dave Bishop.
He has been taken out plays quite often, more often than most high school quarterbacks. He's fast, he's got happy feet, but it didn't work out for him there. And Marcus Alexander just completely unblocked there. The offensive line of Santa Margarita really can't allow their quarterback to take hits like that. It's been 2 sacks in a row. Not what Santa Margarita's O-line is looking for.
So we'll set up another 3rd and long.
And in a 3rd and long situation like this, especially with what I've seen Santa Margarita doing in the past, I think we can expect to see a middle deep shot.
As they'll go with the handoff. And makes it back right near the original line of scrimmage. So Another 4th and long, and it looks like that they'll be forced to punt once again.
It appears to me that Creek has put some of their backup varsity on the field.
So is this punt just a tad bit better than the first one? Still pretty low and right.
So the Creek coaching staff is feeling confident here. You know, they just put, by my count, 4 varsity backup special teams on the field here.
So with the early 3-possession lead, and something that we could definitely say was not expected.
Something unexpected could happen on the Santa Margarita side of the football. It's equally likely they're just as good as a team. It's just that the dice has been rolled in Creek's favor so far.
So as Hammond's going to drop back to pass, try to find someone over the middle, and that one just can't be hauled in by Dante Orlando.
So Creek's going to line up with trips to the top of your screen, but they're going to go with a run anyways.
Number 2, Jaylee Stacks on the carry for the Bruins.
Stacks finds a gain right around 5, so it will be a mid-third down. And these are the ones that you really just want to grind out. You work on in practice all week that you just love to make these conversions almost automatic.
4th down is a lot more stressful than a 3rd down. So if Creek can get these 5 yards here, they'll be pretty happy with themselves.
So as it looks like they'll bring the outside rush as that pass is tipped. And it falls incomplete as it looks like that we have an injured Santa Margarita player.
And can you tell the number on that one, Ben? Looks like a D lineman.
Yeah, I would assume so.
So the story with Santa Margarita's coaching staff this year has been that they have an all-new one. They have a new head coach, Brent Wieselmeyer, and a bunch of new assistant coaches. Wieselmeyer, he was most recently a coach for the Kansas University Jayhawks, their football team, but he also coached as an assistant coach for the Oakland Raiders. So definitely a guy with a lot of experience, definitely someone who can match up with the wits of Dave Logan, who has also been in the football scheme, especially in Cherry Creek, for quite a while.
And it looks like we have a lower body leg injury. That one is Mahan Cole, the defensive lineman, the senior at that. Oh, excuse me. Cole Mahan.
Santa Margarita does not want to be losing people on their D-line tonight. That is a very valuable asset for them. But they still have Derek Wilkins and Greg Doyle, 2 of the top draft recruits for the next recruiting class. These are both very talented, very strong guys. Definitely people who have been making some headlines, making the news on Max Preps on the Santa Margarita football website. Creek is going to line up to punt here.
It's a great punt there. Lots of hang towels. The fair catch is called and hauled in inside the 20. And Santa Margarita will come back out with 2 1:08 left here in the first, trying to get some points on the board here.
So both drives on offense so far, Santa Margarita has opened up with the identical screen pass play. We'll see if they do it here again.
So this will roll out to the near side, and he's sacked again. The ball comes loose, but I believe he was already down by contact.
Joshua Contreras sacked by number 44, Tay Bissell.
So on the Santa Margarita varsity football roster, Joshua Contreras, number 7, is listed as the wide receiver, whereas Colt Fulton was the starting quarterback as these past 2 games, and he's not playing tonight. Or he's not been playing so far. So this is really kind of a curious situation. I don't see him on the sidelines here either.
So they'll take 1st and 17 now on the 10. As they'll try to make a cross body throw as it's hauled in.
That kind of pressure right there is a lot for a quarterback to handle. And it makes him scramble, it makes him worry, and he ends up throwing passes like those that just don't get that many yards.
As missed the receiver there. I don't think they're on the same page. And it will force another 4th and long. So it looks like the Bruins will get the ball back here inside their first possession. Or excuse me, inside the first quarter. They'll get another possession. As that block was very well contested. Another low one. As Purchase will try to bring it back again. And he's brought down as he crosses the 50 back into Santa Margarita territory.
This has certainly been a contrast between Santa Margarita and Creek tonight. Creek has seen much shorter drives. They've been driving from the 50, from their own 40, but Santa Margarita's been driving from their own 10, their own 20. You know, that's 30, 40 extra yards that Creek hasn't had to deal with yet, and it's certainly giving Creek an advantage here.
Bruins with the ball back with 37 left here in the first. As he's going to look to pass. And that one is intercepted by Santa Margarita. So there's some defensive momentum.
The Santa Margarita sideline and their fans are psyched up.
So now they have the ball back with 31 seconds left in the first.
Santa Margarita is an out-of-state team, some, 1,000 miles away from here, but they still managed to have a big fan turnout. Lots of parents, lots of grandparents, and maybe some younger brothers and sisters here in the audience tonight.
Very impressive. You really like to see across all sports team that travels well, and it's even more meaningful in high school where you have your friends and family. As he'll roll out to the far side and look back to the near. As a tackle's broken there, brought inside the 40. 23 seconds now left in the first, and it looks like that Santa Margarita started to get a little something going. So as they will take their first trip inside of Creek territory. And he is met at the line there. So as Creek makes a good recovery after that big game by Santa Margarita. And it looks like that will bring us to the end of the first. So the Bruins jumped out to an early 21-0 lead here. And we'll get ready for the second quarter of action right after this. Back at you here, second quarter action as they're going to take a deep shot. That was almost intercepted by Purchase. He was having himself a night.
That would have been his second interception of the night. Just slid right through his hands.
So another 3rd and long coming up. So he'll take a snap and look to the near side as he finds a receiver, and it's dropped. And I'm not sure about you. I think I might have just seen a little bit of lightning.
Yeah, it looks like there was some lightning there to the northeast.
And at right about this point a week ago, this is right about where we took our lightning delay. And hopefully we don't have the same thing happen to us tonight.
No, it's such a privilege to not only get to broadcast, but to get to watch a game where Creek is facing an out-of-state team. We would hate to see it disrupted by some lightning.
This Purchase makes another stop there. Might have looked a little guilty, but he'll rush off to the sideline. And
so a major personnel change here.
And the Bruins get the ball back.
I guess there was a major personnel change because the offense switched out for the defense. So 73, despite being injured, or at least appearing to be injured last play, is now back on the field, lining up as an outside defensive lineman.
As all 3 of the Bruins receivers lined up on the bottom of your screen as they try to rush to the outside right.
Creek is very confident in their own line. They're running a formation where they run, but they have all of their blockers spread out as receivers, and that's not a typical run formation. But it's worked well for Creek tonight because I suppose they're confident in their run.
So Hammond lines up under center, sends one in motion at the top of the screen as he'll hand it off once again straight through the middle, and will set up a 3rd and short. But really, always in 4-down territory, aren't they?
Yeah, that was definitely a problem for Creek last week as well. They were really needing to convert on 3rd and 4th downs. This is kind of stress. This is the kind of position that you just don't want to be in.
So 3rd and short. So they just want to knock it out here. And he's actually going to drop back. Gets a man and hauled in at the 25.
That is going to be number 6, Chase Penry, someone we haven't seen so far this game tonight, but that is an epic play by him. Did an excellent job separating from his receiver right when the ball got to him, but not before.
So the Bruins will be back inside the 30. 10 minutes left here in the first half.
Just a second ago, we were worried about them perhaps not converting, and here they are converting and adding 20 and some change. So definitely a surprise there.
And it looked like that Santa Margarita was trying to bring the blitz, but they might have crossed the line just a little early.
So what we saw in the last play was actually quite interesting. Creek has been really emphasizing the run all night. And I think they've been emphasizing it so that later they can go back and they can start running some play-action plays. They have a very strong lineup of play-action plays, and if they can, sell out the Santa Margarita defense on running plays, their play-action plays will be so much more stronger later in the game.
So 1st and 5 as the Bruins came out of the same formation as that pass. Give it to James Walker.
Another screen, another time that Creek has tried to divorce itself from the tight physicality of the line where they know that Santa Margarita will just beat them. Santa Margarita's got a strong big D line, and Creek has been able to kind of avoid them by passing screen passes so far.
And something Hammond has to do is, because of that just strong D-line, he just has to get rid of it quickly. And, the plays when he's pressures is what came up with that interception on the last drive, as he'll drop back here and look to the left. As it's completed, trying to make some moves in. Does he break the play?
And we saw some great pass blocking there on that play. I believe there were 7 pass rushers and only 6 blockers. And Creek was still able to hold him off, give Julian Hammond, 2-3 seconds to find an open man.
So as he just makes it inside the 1, some excellent tackle breaks there. And the Bruins are going to try to take the 4-touchdown lead now, as they're just going to try to stuff it in. And they'll come up just a bit short there.
Creek's got 3 more tries here, though. With talent such as Jaylee Stacks and James Walker II, I think we can expect to see another run play here, but we could also see a toss. Yeah, I'm thinking this is going to be a toss to the right.
As it is up, and the catch is made, but just out of bounds at that. But Matthew knew the play call.
So that ball is spotted just a few inches off the goal line.
So on 3rd and goal, they're just going to try to stuff it in here. And Hammond takes it himself into the end zone. And the Bruins with the 28-0 lead. And it's really starting to look a little bit like last week's game now, with the 4-touchdown lead, and it's not even halftime. We're not even halfway through the second quarter.
And I'll tell you, Dave Logan, he predicted this success in a way. He said, if we can get 3, 4, 5 turnover margin, then we can have a lead, 2, 3 touchdowns, but only if we do that. And, you know, we've seen Miles Purchase. He's gotten quite a few interceptions, and we've seen a good turnover margin here from Creek, in addition to, honestly, some luck. Some luck that just came from, you know, Miles Purchase picking the right hole on both his pick six and the kickoff return.
And that's just the high football IQ that everyone on this Bruins team is trying to build. As we take a look now at the student section, they're gotta be excited about this 4-touchdown lead, and a student section that we saw severely thin out after that rain delay. So happy the weather cleared early. Cherry Creek faithful here strong tonight.
We're going to have Alexi Venturi out to kick. Ventura out to kick once again.
As another beautiful kick is taken at the 4, up to the 20, and across right around to the 25.
So again, this is a situation where Santa Margarita just isn't fortunate. Creek has been lining up, only having to make 50, 60-yard drives to get themselves into the end zone, but Santa Margarita here, they've got to go 75 yards to get in the end zone. And that typically cannot be done by a sustained drive. They're probably going to need, you know, a breakaway play, a breakaway run, a breakaway pass that's going to get them, you know, a third, a half of the way.
Yeah, they just got to get something started to build some energy. As he's going to roll out, met again by Creek lineman.
We've actually seen that play twice already, where we have 2 on each side and a running back, and the running back rolls out to the quarterback's left, and the 2 wide receivers on each side fan out down the field. And it was only successful, was hardly successful. It's been run twice. One time it completely failed, and it was, you know, another sack like this. And the other time it was a 2-yard gain. So that play call really not been successful for them tonight.
As the drop back here is completed across right near to the 25. It's 7, right? He's listed.
So here we've just got a Twitter DM from a gracious Twitter user who has explained to us that Colt Fulton was injured in one of the first plays against the game, last game against Mission Viejo. So number 7, Joshua Contreras, who's ordinarily a wide receiver, has stepped up tonight.
So Santa Margarita, the big vertical pass there. Horizontal rather, as it's good for the first down. And it's a very unfortunate situation there where you don't get to bring your starting quarterback on the big trip. And really, if he's playing, you wonder how this game might be different.
Absolutely. Joshua Contreras is doing a great job. He's really stepping up here. But who knows how they're losing him as a wide receiver.
So as he pump fakes once and then twice, he's going to roll out here to the near side as he's met with a big hit. And that one riles up the Santa Margarita fans.
Tackles made by number 43,
Nathaniel Mariska, number 43 on that tackle. It's a big hit. That's the kind of physical play that Creek needs to be engaging in this game.
So the 2nd and 4, as he's met behind the line of scrimmage and will be tackled for a loss. And as the clock rolls on, we're approaching midway here through the 2nd quarter, as Santa Margarita will have another 3rd down conversion coming up. As a pass there is hauled in behind the line of scrimmage and tackled for a loss once again. That will bring up 4th and 6. 4th and 7, rather.
So the punter for Santa Margarita will be out again tonight, and Miles Purchase will be out to return once again.
And this punter had not been having his career night, you could say. As it looks like they're going to go for the fake. He barely gets the kick off as he's met with pressure. Ball comes down and rolls just inside the 35. He's just been having a lot of trouble tonight.
Yeah, it's not so much his fault as it has been for the Santa Margarita O-line. He's experienced so much pressure. I think coaches wanted him to roll out here so that he could maybe have another second or two to get that kick off. Last punt, I believe it was tipped, which made it go much shorter, much less hang time than any special teams coordinator would like.
So the Bruins with the ball back on their own 33, 5:01 left in the first. As Hamo hand this one off to the near side, try to find some room.
It's going to be Jaylee Stacks once again.
And I think we have a flag in the Cherry Creek backfield. And it will be a hold on the Bruins. This one will come back and they will replay the down. So it will be 1st and 20 for the Bruins.
So Creek has a lot of blocker personnel out there right now. They were originally planning for a run on 1st and 10, but now they have a 1st and 20. We'll see what they can do with this. Gunnar Helm lined up to the north of your screen. He was open all week last week against Doherty. Looks like they will be playing a man defense here.
And Hamad backs on both sides of this as he hands it off to Stacks.
Looks like this same play call as before, or a very similar play call as before.
And the Bruins will earn back almost all that they lost on that holding penalty, which will still bring up 2nd and long. So Stacks will switch sides. Hammond will hand it off and then pump fake, and he is met on the line. So 3rd and long coming up for the Bruins, a situation that they haven't had to have too many times tonight.
No, and that 3rd and long is caused partially by a cornerback blitz play there. That's something we haven't seen from Santa Margarita much yet, but it's something I saw a bit in film these past 2 weeks.
So as the clock rolls on inside of 3 minutes.
The question for Creek here is how can they use their timeouts, and
as I believe Dave Logan just called his.
Yes, so Creek will have 1 timeout left. Not a favorable position to be in here. 3 minutes left, 1 timeout, and 70 yards. They're going to have to figure out how they're going to go 70 yards that quickly and that reliably.
So as the Bruins, of course, with the 4-touchdown league, just one of those touchdowns coming here in the second quarter after that big first half start.
So Creek is going to go to the line confident, with pep in their step. See what they do here.
So 3rd and 12 is what the Bruins face here. 3:05 in the third as Hammond will drop back, try to find someone on the near side. The pocket is collapsing and brought down for the sack. And a big loss there. The Bruins won't be going for it on 4th time this time. They're going to have to punt.
So this is an opportunity, not a great opportunity, but an opportunity for Santa Margarita to score. They can get some points on the board here before the end of the half. That looks a lot better.
And a timeout used now by Santa Margarita.
Interesting timing on that timeout. I would typically elect to save my timeouts for an offensive drive where we have to do it rather quickly, but I suppose Santa Margarita recognizes something valuable about this return play here.
So 4th and 20 as the Bruins will come out in the punting formation.
And just one indication of how close Santa Margarita is to halftime and how much they will have to hustle. The marching band has already begun warming up for their halftime performance.
As that punt low and right.
That's going to be tipped, and that's going to go out at the 50. One of the first opportunities for Santa Margarita offensively where they're not going all that far. They're only going 50 yards here. And if they can capitalize on that, you know, this is one of the easiest drives to capitalize on it anyways.
So Santa Margarita has a short field this time as they just have 42 yards to go. Let's see if they could put something in these last 2 minutes and 50 seconds.
Great block by the O-line there. Wide open hole for the running back to run through, and he hits it with speed and tenacity.
So 2nd and 3 now. As the receiver set in motion will go down low. And the quarterback hit hard there.
Incomplete. That's going to stop the clock.
And Arden Walker really brought the hit there as looks like quarterback was just a little bit slow to come back up. He'll stay in. And it will bring up 3rd and short as I'm sure Santa Margarita will want to convert here. So as he'll head it off, some space is found on the outside run. And it will be enough for the first down. So as we climb inside, as we're going to climb inside of 2 minutes, Santa Margarita has 30 yards to go.
Earlier we were talking about the weather. We were maybe hearing a little bit of thunder and seeing some lightning to the northeast, but that seems to have cleared up now. Only thunder on the field is the bass drums of the marching band.
As the running back met the line there. It's slightly below average night, 65 degrees here in Greenwood Village. Perfect night for football in these nice autumn nights.
Yeah, perfect night for Santa Margarita, hopefully get their first score of the game, but with just 70 seconds left and the clock ticking, and Santa Margarita with perhaps a slower offense than necessary at the moment.
As the pass is there, Crows inside of the 20.
This will be wide open across the field. So that's not going to stop the clock.
2 timeouts left for Santa Margarita as the chains move. So now it's just them against the clock. 50 seconds left.
And we're going to see Santa Margarita begin to use their timeouts here because they're going to have to.
As they go over the middle again with the same slant.
A similar play call. Creek played the same defense both games in a row, and Santa Margarita has figured out how to exploit that. An open pass across the center right in the middle of the box.
So another gain there. It'll bring up second and short as Santa Margarita will burn their second timeout. Each team one remaining here.
So Santa Margarita is just going to be 10 yards out of the end zone and 36 seconds to score. I'm curious as to Brent Wieselmeyer and his coaching staff's philosophy when it comes to field goals versus touchdowns here. Are they going to save that timeout for, 3 seconds left to give their kicker an opportunity?
And what do you think Dave Logan is saying to his defense now, who haven't had their backs this close to the wall all night?
I think Dave Logan is just telling his team, hang in it, hold them off for these last 36 seconds. If you can, keep them to a field goal. Dave Logan understands that this situation is not particularly gravitational. And he also, understands the value of his defense and what they can do here. He doesn't have any varsity backups in here, though, which he did earlier in the drive.
So 2nd and 1 as that snap seemed to be fumble, and the quarterback goes to the ground.
And that's going to make the play clock run.
We'll bring up 3rd down. And they might just use that timeout to bring out the field goal team and end the half. Nope, they're going to call their timeout right now.
So that's our answer to our question. How does Santa Margarita feel about kickoffs? About field goals versus touchdowns? And looks like they're really aiming for a touchdown here. If this doesn't work out for them, they might hustle out for a field goal. But I suspect they're going for the full 7 here.
So on this 3rd down, they're going to give it one more shot. And see if they can put some numbers on the board.
I'm thinking we see a simple play here. We're going to see some Santa Margarita wide receivers go to the end zone, and hopefully Joshua Contreras, who is a wide receiver himself but is playing quarterback tonight, can hit one of them open.
So the 3rd down, 28 seconds left. As the pocket collapses, he'll throw it away. He was hit hard by 2 Creek defenders.
Not a great play for them, but the incomplete pass does mean that the clock stops.
And he is yet to get up. And you don't want to see that as you're just trying to get out of the first half into the locker room.
Do we really know if Santa Margarita's got a 3rd-string quarterback?
They surely do on their depth chart. But then again, the person playing quarterback is listed as a wide receiver. So as the Bruins are in the huddle on this 4th and 3, as the quarterback still being tended to.
Looking for number 12 on the sidelines here. He is listed on the published depth chart as their 3rd string quarterback, Jordan Holmes, just a sophomore.
It does bring up 4th down. So if you're trying to make it a game, you might as well just go for it. But if you try to get some points on the board, see what unit comes out.
It's going to be the field goal unit. The SMCHS O-line has not done a great job of protecting Joshua Contreras tonight, and it might demand that Jordan Holmes steps up. Kick nearly blocked there,
As
but it will be good.
Sneaks it in on the left side, so they do put some points on the board.
And that's going to give Creek 21 seconds here. So unless Miles Purchase can pull something off again, we're probably just going to see them take a knee.
And that will put him 3 of 4 of field goals this season.
Quite a bit of pep still here on the Santa Margarita sidelines. Fans are faithful and the cheerleaders are dancing along to the fight song. So Santa Margarita is still excited to be here, still ready to play. And boy, can they. They are top 300 in the nation. Just been plagued by a bit of unluck tonight.
So let's see if Purchase can try to put one more in before the end of the half. That would sure be something.
I think he'd pretty much be a legend around campus if he could do that.
As he's going to find some space over on the near side. Break one tackle, try to turn the corner, and he will. Up to the 40, across the 50 as he runs out of bounds. Miles Purchase says she's got the return thing down.
And this is really actually a testament more to the altitude as well. Santa Margarita, they practice in California, sea level altitude. Creek practices at 80 feet above sea level. So, they're accustomed to this, low oxygen environment, whereas Santa Margarita is mostly, underwhelmed, I would say. Overwhelmed with, the lack of oxygen here. So, just not being able to get after Miles Purchase so easily is most likely result of, they're not used to this altitude, right?
Believe the Bruins will just kneel here.
Doesn't look like it, the way they're lined up.
It looks like they're going to take one more shot with 11 seconds left as he's going to put it over the middle up to the 50 across the Santa Margarita side of the field.
And Dante Orlando, who received that pass, is going to be very careful to get out of bounds. I think they were trying to get maybe into field goal position, give Alexi Ventura a chance to kick.
And we haven't seen him from range yet this season.
No, and this is probably not within his range. We're going to see Julian Hammond come to the huddle here. Probably going to see Hail Mary, a couple of long fade passes. Who knows exactly, but
the Bruins are going to take a shot, but hey, out of all the things that have happened tonight, anything could happen. As Hammond will drop back on the final play of the first half. He sends it up. Oh, he looks open. Oh, as that pass is intercepted after it goes off a couple of Bruins. And he's going to find some space across the 50 as he's brought down. So as the final play of the half is intercepted, and it might have looked like just for a second that Santa Margarita might have done almost the impossible. The Bruins will head to the locker room with the 25-point lead.
Either way that play turned out could have been absolutely wild. You know, Creek on the Hail Mary would have been insane, but even more insane would have been, 100-yard pick six by Santa Margarita there. But Santa Margarita is going to be tackled by 75 Carson Lee. Typically an O lineman, but he had to come out to make the tackle there.
The Bruins head to the locker room with the 25-point lead. We'll be right back at you. Second half action on the Cherry Creek Sports Network. Cherry Creek High School football on the Cherry Creek Sports Network is brought to you by Staff Rod Orthodontics. And by Drive Safe. Benjamin Paris and Matthew Anderson welcome you back to the Stutler Bowl for second half action of Cherry Creek and Santa Margarita. Cherry Creek jumped out to the early 4-touchdown lead as Santa Margarita tacked on 3 right there at the end of the first half. They're ready, 25-point lead going into the third. What are the Bruins looking for in the second half? Back at you now with second half coverage here of the out-of-state matchup of Santa Margarita and Cherry Creek. Cherry Creek just has to hold on to the lead, and that's really about it.
It's a 28-3 lead here, and that's a handsome lead for Creek, but Santa Margarita is a top team in the nation, and they can take it away. It's important to remember a lot of Creek's success so far has come from, a bit of luck. Not to say that Creek isn't a great football team. They are, like Santa Margarita, top in the nation. But in the second half, will tell us a story here.
And it's considered that half their points are coming off of either an offensive nor defensive play with the pick 6, but the kick return is really, I think, what we could define by the lock, as Santa Margarita will bring it across the 20 to open up this second half, and they just got to put some points on the board early here in the third.
Yeah, so going into the second half, we saw, a pretty brutal tackle on number 7, Joshua Contreras, the quarterback, or rather the second-string quarterback for Santa Margarita. He walked off the field injured after taking a while to get up, but it looks like he is back on the field now, ready to go. We'll see if his offensive line can protect him maybe a little bit more than they have so far.
As they'll go to the run on first down and not really take it anywhere except for a few yards forward.
That's a pretty standard play call that we've seen out of them over the past 2 games, though. Over the past 2 games, they have seen a lot of run plays simple, up the A, B, C gap run plays where they're just trying to get a few yards just to start off their drive, give them a bit of momentum.
As they'll rush once again, this one won't get past the line of scrimmage.
Number 22, Nicholas Barcelos on the carry, brought down by number 7, Marcus.
A strong tackle there by Creek's number 7, Marcus Alexander.
And it brings up 3rd and long, something that Santa Margarita faced too many times. I think they'd put it in that first half.
So on 3rd and long, we can expect to see perhaps a middle-of-the-field deep pass. That's the most common play that Santa Margarita has been running on 3rd and long, but they also have a quarterback who's a wide receiver. So we're not sure if he'll be able to step up here for middle.
As he got rid of that one quick, and it was tipped.
It was an early middle pass. Again, the offensive line really just couldn't give Contreras the protection he needed, and he had to get that ball off a little bit sooner than he would have liked to.
And a 3rd and out will be the way that they start it, just as they did in the first half too many times. Just have to enforce those errors that they made the first time, and hopefully they went over that in the locker room.
Yeah, Santa Margarita's punter Ian Grogan is out for maybe the 5th time tonight, which stands in stark contrast to Creek's punter, which has only been out 1 time tonight.
And he got one fairly airborne as Purchase gets this one, finds some space, and will be met at the 50. But what Creek has been able to set themselves up with is these short fields has really been a key to their success.
Yeah, absolutely. Already in the second half, we've seen Santa Margarita start from, around their own 20, having to go, 70, 75, 80 yards to the end zone. But Creek here, they only have to go 50. That's, 66% as much. That's hardly as much in terms of plays, in terms of physicality, in terms of, the stress on your body. So Creek here is really having these shorter fields, and it's helping them out a lot. It's helping them score more.
So 50 yards to go this time as it's 1st and 10. Hamlin will hand it off. Finds some space on the far side, gets away, and met by some more defenders. Gain of right around 5. And the Bruins are just going to try to keep it moving. And the Bruins are rocking the red uniforms tonight, as it is a red out here at Stutler Bowl, as opposed to the traditional blue. As Santa Margarita will bring the blitz. Creek will get to the outside, and that ball will be spotted near the 40.
Great vision by, I believe that was number 5 on the carry.
Correct.
James Walker.
Yeah.
Definitely one of the, he's junior this year, but definitely one of the top class recruits for next year.
So as he'll pick up 4 there, he'll get 3rd and short.
I think we can expect to see a screen pass here. Yep.
As he's hit hard at the 35, but enough for the first down.
And that screen pass is something that Creek has done rather predictably, both through their games with Doherty and with Santa Margarita so far tonight. It's been dependable for them, and they aren't giving up on it anytime soon.
So Hammond gets the play call from the sideline and will bring it into the huddle. So Bruins have 1st and 10 on the 35 now. So they've got the first 15 as where they started on the 50, and it looks like that Dave Logan didn't like something about the way they're set up, and will call his first timeout of the half. And that's not something he's hesitant to do, is call timeout, as we see him do it early on in the half quite often.
We are delivering amazing smiles for our Cherry Creek Bruins, handcrafted one at a time, made just for you.
I have to wonder what what Dave Logan saw in the defense there.
Visit our Smile Center and start your journey to a strap-on signature smile. Go Bruins!
But as we are 3 minutes into the third, Birds are going to try to extend their lead on this drive. As they will come out of timeout.
Lined up in an identical formation. And this is a formation we don't see often, so it's kind of indicative of them maybe running the same play as before.
As they're going to send it to who was in motion, and he'll get to the 20.
It's easy to credit James Walker there, his speed, his athleticism, his vision. But what goes generally unseen is those were some excellent holds to the north of your screen there. In particular, Gunnar Helm, number 11, very strong, very powerful tight end who was able to hold off his defender and give James Walker, room to run for another 10 or so yards.
So the Bruins will take it from the 22. There's another screen pass now. And some good blocking there will spot the Bruins around the 12 or 13. We'll see if it's enough for the first down. As another Eagle is down on the field who needs some attention.
I believe that was 3 screen passes in a row and maybe 3 first downs in a row as well.
So the amount of times we saw it last week, maybe Cherry Creek still has a lot to hide, but maybe they're really going to be relying on that screen pass all season.
They got a great player in James Walker. He's, if you played fantasy football with high school players, he'd be the perfect person for your flex position because he plays running back and wide receiver and does both of them with just absolute power. And that he's been, seeing a lot of these screen plays here because he can catch the ball and he can run upfield with speed.
And that's right, James Walker, who leads the team in second in all-purpose yards, of course, behind Stacks. But that's right, 97 yards rushing last week, 17 in the air. Someone that you can rely on, and you love to have a wide receiver who can do both.
So I think that's going to be number 11, Keanu Kama. One of Santa Margarita's starting defensive backs. He's going to get up. He's going to walk off the field here under his own power. And I got to tell you, Santa Margarita's defensive back situation is something that's definitely been helping them out. Their cornerbacks are absolutely long. They're long, lengthy, and fast. And they really were, set to give these Creek wide receivers kind of a hard time tonight. So hopefully for Santa Margarita, Keanu Kama can, rise soon again.
So they'll have it at the 6 for first and goal. As Tama just throws it in the end zone, easy as that. 5th touchdown of the night for the Bruins. Dante Orlando will get that touchdown.
And we're going to see Creek's esteemed special teams. Their long snapper, their holder, their kicker out for another time tonight. And hopefully they can hold on to this 100% PAT and field goal accuracy tonight.
And Dante Orlando, is just one of those lethal receivers. He went 5 receptions for 101 yards last week, so he was averaging 20 yards per reception.
So this is a handsome lead here with just 8 minutes left in the third quarter for the Cherry Creek Bruins, winning by more than a factor of 10. 35-3 is the score as Santa Margarita is set to receive from Cherry Creek on the kickoff.
And unfortunately, has started to look a lot like last week, as we've alluded to a few times before. You go into the week hoping for a competitive game, of course, but
So Ventura is going to get set up here. And he has got an absolute leg.
as that one is high, will be taken at the 4 and met near the 20.
And that's going to be returned by number 15, Jalen Jones. He's got speed, man. That was a quick return. He was tackled soon, but that was a fast return. That was like an animated character with his legs moving so fast.
And yeah, it looked like if he could have got the right blocks, he could have just been gone in seconds and milliseconds.
Yep. I mean, Santa Margarita has been struggling on the blocks tonight. Creek has been playing physical football, more physical football than we usually see out of them. And that's given Santa Margarita a harder time here.
As that pass towards the near side is bobbled and not be able to haul it in, as it will go incomplete.
That's going to be bobbled by number 19, Ian Grogan. Wide open, but just couldn't secure the ball.
Second and 10 now. As a screen pass of their own is good for a few yards. Couldn't quite break free, but will come up with about a 3rd and 4. And 4, they're going to go on the run, and he'll get across to about the 35 and be able to pick up the first down. So there's a good down conversion from Santa Margarita. And if they could just keep doing that, put some more points on the board.
So on these run plays where Santa Margarita has, wide receivers out, their wide receivers tend to be further out from the offensive line than they ordinarily would be for a pass play.
So that one is brought to the far side. Good for right about 9. So a good first down, good first down play there. As second short will be coming up.
That was a lot of agility on the receiver's end.
So second short, as looks like Santa Margarita was building some momentum after that 3rd down completion. The pocket began to collapse. Quarterback tried to scramble and he gave himself up.
We just saw the same formation 3 times in a row, and we saw 2 different plays run out of that. So the Santa Margarita offense has found, a rhythm for their play calling, and it's been working out well for them so far.
So 3rd and 1, they'd love to convert back-to-back times. So they take the snap with 6:20 left. They're going to go with this screen. As the tackle cannot be made, and he goes out of bounds right around the 48. Good for another Eagles first down.
It's convenient. 3rd down conversion there. And so again, Santa Margarita started some 80 yards out of the end zone, and now they're just at about 50 after, 2 minutes of play here. So they have really been suffering from this, longer distance they have to travel for the touchdown.
As they'll give the handoff to the near side, and he's just going to keep powering as he gets it there for the first down.
And he sure is going to alleviate some of that burden there.
It looks like Santa Margarita on these first and second downs have been able to accumulate more yards than they were in the first half, which has given them these shorter opportunities at these conversions where they need them the most.
Yeah, we've definitely seen, a much different Santa Margarita in the first half. They're a little bit more polished. They're still, calling the same plays, making the same, philosophies, I suppose, but it's more polished. They're doing it better. Better execution here.
As the Bruins blitz there, Santa Margarita will get it up to around the 30 as Arden Walker will come up with the tackle. And as the clock rolls on, Santa Margarita gets to the 31, so they got 2nd and 5. As the Bruins bring the pressure, the sidearm throw is bobbled.
And Ben, I'm seeing something interesting on the field here. Neither of the play clock timers are on, which makes me wonder how and where these play clocks are being recorded.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think I noticed that earlier tonight. I thought it might have just been angled away from us, but yeah, wasn't able to see those play clocks. As the miscommunication there.
Just a tad bit overthrown. He was open, though.
So with 4th and 5, Santa Margarita has a decision to make. Do you go for it? Try to continue on some momentum. And probably just outside the field goal range that they're comfortable with. They will indeed go for it. So 4th and 5 from the 31. Halfway through this third quarter. The run and now the sneak.
So Contreras is a wide receiver by trade. He is, a second string quarterback here tonight. So he is comfortable with these run plays.
And Contreras took it himself.
Couldn't get that conversion, and Creek's on the field now.
Yeah, it looks like he came up just short.
From here, it looked like he may have gotten it, but I suppose he did not.
So after they had driven down the field right about 70-ish yards, more like 50, they will turn over on downs, and the Bruins have the ball back.
And they drove down the field 50 yards. And for Creek tonight, that would have been a touchdown several times. But for Santa Margarita, they're plagued by these, 80, 70, 90-yard drives.
So the Bruins will have the ball back inside. 5 minutes here in the third. And Santa Margarita just wants to start getting stops, and it would be very fortunate if they could try to force a 3 and out. So Bruins will keep it on the ground again.
James Walker's going to run out there, and then he's going to go back. And then he's going to run back forward again. So that tackle made by Derek Wilkins, definitely one of Santa Margarita's top assets, who we haven't seen as much tonight, but he is, one of their best players, especially when it comes to the D-line. He is an absolute force, an absolute unit, and he is something that Creek in particular has prepared for with respect to their game plan.
So after the tackle from Wilkins, we have a 3rd and 3 for the Bruins. As That pass across the 35 out to about the 38 will be good enough for a Bruins first down, it looked like. But a flag is thrown and holding will be called on the Bruins, so they 3rd and short just turned to 3rd and long. 3rd and 13 coming up for the Bruins.
Not the kind of good, smart, error-free football, minimal mental mistakes that Dave Logan was looking for going into tonight. He seems to be very frustrated with his team around the sidelines here.
They have been able to minimize from last week.
Yeah, they certainly have had experienced much less of a problem with the penalties. Santa Margarita, on the other hand, I believe they've had one penalty so far tonight, and it was declined regardless. So,
as Hammond trying to find some space, goes to the far side. It does find some as the catch is made across the 50 and the flag thrown.
I got nervous there. Hammond really only made one look on that play, and it was to Chase Penry, but ultimately that worked out. And an accurate throw there, caught by Hammond, and it's going to give them not only the conversion, but put them in enemy territory.
And I think the call will most likely be pass interference
On Santa Margarita. That's just going to be
and that penalty,
picked up.
of course, declined. So only a 15-yard penalty here in high school. You get all the distance in the NFL. So the Bruins get the benefit out of declining that one, and another 1st and 10 back on the Santa Margarita side of the field. See, Snappy's going to roll out again and just throw that one away into the kicking net.
Great pressure there by the D-line.
And the Bruins will now have 2nd and 10 as another drive down the field. They're marching for sure. Now, that's a great question. They got to be wondering about this play clock, as Dave Logan will call his 2nd timeout, and we're not even in the 4th quarter.
Huh?
So the Bruins back at it now. 2nd and 10. They're on the 43. As Hammond walks back, he was in the backfield alone. Fires one over the middle, and he is speared.
Oh, man. It's going to be caught by number 16, CJ Page, and he is just going to get decked by number 33 on Santa Margarita, Gregory Doyle. Gregory Doyle, one of the other major assets for Santa Margarita. Much like Derek Wilkins, he is, top in the in Santa Margarita's upcoming draft class. So, very valuable player for the team with the hit there.
As the handoff is tripped up behind the line. So Santa Margarita gets a stop. It will be 4th and probably about 7.
And Logan is not going to, or is he? Is he going to test Ventura's range here?
Now this would be
That would be exciting.
quite the attempt, as it looks like
No.
the punt team's going to come out rather. See if they can pin him deep.
Punting out to number 14, Tyler Wetmore, out of Santa Margarita, wide receiver and punt returner.
As this punt's low, and it's going to roll inside the 10.
Appeared to be tipped there. And again, Dave Logan is comfortable with punting there because he knows he's going to put, he's going to set Santa Margarita up for a 90-yard drive. And a 90-yard drive doesn't happen without, at least a couple of miracle plays where you go 30, 40 yards, because Santa Margarita, they can go 50, 60 yards. Creek can go 50, 60 yards, but Santa Margarita has had to go 90, and Creek has had to go 50.
And it's also that endurance game that you talked about earlier as we're getting to the second half here. And it's hard on a team, especially when you're a high school student athlete, when you make a trip, a 3-4 hour flight to altitude, and you're in the second half of a game that you're down by 32.
Certainly a mental game there.
So the rollout to the near side is caught and brought up to about the 25.
And that was actually a fantastic look by number 7 there, Joshua Contreras. He knew 21 was going to be open, even though 21 wasn't looking back at him just yet. That's going to work out really well for them. That's going to put them, just above 70 yards out of the end zone, end zone, as opposed to whereas before they were, some 93?
So that 1st and 10 run is absolutely swallowed, as Arden Walker will get another tackle. As we roll right inside of 1 minute here in the 3rd. As another Santa Margarita run is swallowed behind the line.
That's the kind of pressure and physical play that every team likes to see themselves making.
So another 3rd and long. These are the plays you got to make to continue the drive.
Right, I expect Santa Margarita to punt here if they don't make it, but hey, nothing's happened yet. Hopefully they can capitalize here on this 3rd and long. Again, when we were watching film this week, we saw them going with a lot of deep passes down the middle. So I think we can expect to see one of those here.
As he's dropped back and swallowed and not able to even make an attempt at the pass.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're gonna make a middle deep pass, you gotta give your receivers a chance to get out there, and for that to happen, the O-line has got to give the quarterback 3-4 seconds to allow his receivers to get out there, progress his looks, and pick and throw at a target.
Stelante Dickey picks up the sack there. Had a sack in the last game, so he's leading the team now. And that brings us to the end of the 3rd. So as the teams switch sides, we'll take a quick break on the Cherry Creek Sports Network.
So, Ben, we're headed here into the fourth quarter. And Santa Margarita is set up to punt, down by 32 here.
Another poor punt there, almost like a spiral, like a pass.
Neither Cherry Creek nor Santa Margarita has had much luck punting tonight.
And that went down on the 41, so Cherry Creek with just the 59-yard field to travel this time.
And this is really going to come down to the point differential here. Can Santa Margarita close it? Can CCHS expand it? It's hard to know, but we have 12 minutes left, and Creek's got the ball with, again, 60 yards to go. So hopefully they can, maybe capitalize on it here. Last game against Doherty, we saw Creek bring in a lot of backup varsity and even starting JV players to play. We could see that happen again here, maybe, with 5 minutes left in the quarter.
As that pass falls incomplete.
Tipped on the play by, I believe, number 53, Derek Wilkins. One of those major assets for Santa Margarita that we've been discussing.
So the Bruins come out with a 2nd and 10 on the 41. And flags are thrown.
It's going to be a false start on Cherry Creek.
So back him up. It will be 2nd and 15. As Heba will hand that one off to the near side. Try to break some tackles in a big, right around 12, 13-yard gain there.
That's going to go to James Walker, just showing his athleticism and agility there, dodging in and out of Santa Margarita defenders.
So the Bruins will have 3rd and short coming up. As Hammond will hand it off once again. And the ball's fumbled on the ground, and I think Santa Margarita has it back.
James Walker hit the hole. He runs through, and he turns around without anything in his hand. Like, what? Where did it go?
So Santa Margarita finally has the short field. And let's see if they can take advantage of it. There's time left, not a lot of it, but there's still some.
Santa Margarita's been seeing the long fields here, but like you mentioned, they finally have a short field, and this is the shortest field we've seen all night. If they can capitalize on this, they can, close the differential here.
So they just have 46 yards to go. They've not made a trip into the end zone yet tonight. They send one in motion. He's down on the near side. Instead, he goes over the middle, and it is swatted by Miles Purchase, who's had himself quite the night.
Joshua Contreras there doesn't even look to his left, and his left has got 19 coming out of the backfield wide open to the right there. Probably could have capitalized 20, 30 yards there, but unfortunate Contreras just missed it.
So Contreras snaps and hands it off. He gets straight through the middle. Gets around a man and will pick up large gain there. So the Eagles back inside of the 30. Haven't been inside there this half yet.
And a great rush by Nicholas Barcelos, but even better blocking by the Santa Margarita O-line. They just completely had the Creek defensive line overpowered there, and that was excellent.
There's another run there. Finds a hole and good for a gain of about 6.
Number 22, Nicholas Barcelos, is going to take the ball again. 2 successful plays in a row for him.
Inside 10 minutes now here in the 4th. As the screen pass there, as he'll try to turn the corner.
You know, you got 46 yards to go. It's convenient, you know. And they've been doing a great job exploiting that convenience and making some simple, sustained plays here. They have a nice sustained drive, and if they can keep that up for these last 17 yards, they can easily score.
So they've gone back into the red zone. They're on the 17. It's 3rd and short, and it looks like they're in a formation as they'll pass it again as he finds some more yards, and now inside of the 10, so that sets up a 1st and goal for Santa Margarita.
So 22, Nicholas Barcelos, definitely a big part of this drive. Thus far, shaping up to be Santa Margarita's most successful drive.
And I believe Cherry Creek just used their 3rd and final timeout of the half. There's 9:24 left in the 4th.
Gotta wonder what Dave Logan is talking to his team about right now.
Because now they really haven't had their backs this close to the wall all night as Santa Margarita finds themselves inside the 10. So Santa Margarita just going to try to finally punch one in. It is 1st and 9. They set up with 2 wide receivers on top, 1 down below. Running back on the left side. He's going to look left. Another screen. It'll get it up and gain about to the 6, so a 3-yard gain on 1st and goal. 2nd and goal now from the 6.
And Contreras there talking to his wide receivers.
As there's now 3 bunched on the top, 1 on the bottom. He has it back on the left.
I think we can expect to see this play go right.
And see if it sets up another screen as they put one in motion. Throws it up, he's open, and he can't come down with the catch. And it will bring up and goal.
So that play tripped up the Creek defense there. A few players went uncovered, a few players got confused. But that pass just couldn't be completed.
So they realistically have 2 more plays to get into the end zone. I think they're probably in 4-down territory as they have the screen. And the miscommunication there, incomplete. So 4th and goal from the 6. And I think they'll go for it.
Personnel change there. Another wide receiver goes on. I think we can expect to see a simple pass play here.
So they traveled 40 yards. A fairly sustainable drive. As this play's going to go to the right. Pocket collapsing. And that pass is bounded down. Incomplete. It looks like that Contreras is down once again. Slow to get up.
Creek has had great pressure all night. Number 83, Arden Walker. Great pressure on Julian sorry, not Julian Hammond. Joshua Contreras.
So the Bruins get the ball back on the 6:09:07 left. And I'm sure the Bruins are just trying to knock some time off the clock.
For the most part, they still have their varsity starters in here.
As that carry is brought up to the 8, a short gain of 2 on first down.
And the Creek sideline is loudly singing 2010 songs.
Very, very always excited to be in the Cherry Creek student section.
Always exciting to be at the Stutler Bowl, period.
Trying to find a hole again. And gets across to the 19. Good for a first down. And while he mentions it's exciting to be at the Stutler Bowl, next week Cherry Creek opens their road schedule at Mullen. And CCSN will be live with you for that one. That's right. We'll be traveling to Mullen. And Mullen and the Mustangs and the Bruins will be live on the Cherry Creek Sports Network.
That'll be sure to be an exciting one. Cherry Creek Bruins' first away game. And you know, Mullen is always a great matchup each year, part of the Centennial League.
And Mullen, a team that Cherry Creek faced last year as a part of the Great American Rivalry Series, where the Bruins won that one. As Hammond's going to roll out to the right. He has pressure. He lets it go, and I think it'll be ruled incomplete.
Hammond finds a good look downfield, and he knows he just can't hit it just yet, so he's committed. He's overly committed to this look, and he doesn't realize, you know, this defense is so on him that he's got to just go short or throw it away. Maybe if this defense had been so on Julian Hammond earlier, we would see a bit of a closer game here now.
As they bring it to the ground once again. Short game will bring up 3rd and long. So it all will come down to 3rd and 7 from the 22.
And he is off like a bolt of lightning. That was a tremendous play. That's going to be number 35, Carlson Tan, the only freshman varsity starter. Sorry, not a starter, the only freshman on varsity. And I believe that is his first run of the season. So definitely a big play for a varsity freshman. Creek now just shy of 30 yards out of the end zone with 6 minutes left to go. Seeing if they can score once again. Two wide receivers to the north. So our camera in the press box is currently not working, but we have a couple of great cinematographers on the field here, and they're going to keep us updated. Two wide receivers to the south. It's going to be a run up the center. And number 35, Carlson Tan. The same freshman we were just talking about earlier is going to take it up for another 2 yards or so, put Creek at a 3rd and long. And number 13, Garrett Niehoff, is now on the field. He is the varsity backup quarterback. So, wow, we have already seen quite a few backups into the game now. This backup squad is seeing if they can do something here. It's going to be a play action. Garrett Niehoff nails.
Garrett Niehoff's pass is complete to number 85.
Number 85, Tyler Dvorak. Again, not a varsity starter, a varsity backup. So Creek's varsity backup is seriously making some dents here. And good for them at that.
We saw this a little bit at the end of the last game where they started having some drives and marching down the field. And I believe that Niehoff was responsible for one of the touchdowns at the end of the game.
Yeah, definitely getting some reps here, getting some practice in, just so they can be even better in their JV games and in the coming years as these backups become starters. That ball is going to go over Niehoff's head. He's going to recover it, but he is going to lose some 12, 13 yards on the play there.
So 2nd and long, as we're inside of 4 minutes now.
He's an O-lineman. So a toss play there to Carlson Tan to the left.
Number 35, Carlson Tan on the carry for the Bruins.
Again, Carlson, a freshman, the only freshman on varsity.
What's Jonathan's last name? Varghese.
Number 35, Carlson Tan.
So, again, number 35, Carlson Stan is going to take that ball up for short gain there. It's going to be 4th down. And are we going to see the leg of Alexi Ventura? That is the question. So we're going to see them line up in a normal formation. Garrett Niehoff, backup quarterback. It's going to be a pitch play to number 19.
Get the outside, and it will be the turnover on downs.
It's going to be a turnover on downs. But that is Creek's backup varsity playing there, so.
So Santa Margarita will get the ball back with the final minute 38.
And we'll see, their play call here. Are they going to try to drive down the field, or are they going to go for a couple of long bombs? It's hard to know.
And this is the time you can really pull out any play you want. I think, when Doherty was down by this much, this is when they started pulling out their trick plays. So you never know what can happen.
They're going to look longer, wide open on the right sideline.
As he's going to cross the 50, he might get away. And he gets down to the 20. So they go for the long bomb, and it will lead to another trip to the red zone.
So again, Santa Margarita's been absolutely plagued by these, these long drives, and they're accustomed to having to go 80 yards to the end zone, but they made something out of that. That some 60-yard play there has put them in the red zone.
So that one will bring them inside the 10. And first and goal, they're right back at it.
So just looking at the Creek defense now, it's gotten noticeably smaller. And that is because there are some JV and varsity backups out there. This is a very similar scenario to what we saw last week against Doherty.
As we're inside the final minute here at the Stutler Bowl. Bruins with the 32-point lead. As a snap, it'll look left, into the end zone for the score. Santa Margarita finds the end zone.
He was really wide open there, and that was some great blocking by Santa Margarita's offensive line.
So Tyler Wetmore, it will take that one home and put a touchdown on the board for Santa Margarita.
We are going to see kicker Teasley out for a second time tonight.
As his extra point is straight through the uprights and good. So it took him
just about
took him to the 48th minute, right into the end, but they got the job done.
Took him just short of 50 seconds to complete that drive, making that the quickest drive of today's game.
And after that long bomb that got him down there, maybe should have been taking more of those shots all game, except credit to the Cherry Creek defense. They really did get to the quarterback, and while those starters were in, we'll mention that too.
Yeah, it's easy to say, that was a fantastic drive, and it was, but Creek has their varsity in, Creek has their JV in right now, so. But that reminds us, tune into our social channels to see the Drive Safe drive of the game this weekend.
That as well as the play of the game, and I think that Miles Purchase probably has the top two candidates for play of the game, as they're going to go for the onside kick. Purchase can't handle it.
I believe that was number 6, Chase Penry, or number 5, James Walker, who couldn't grab that one. So that's going to be the Bruins ball with just 46 seconds left in the half. As their JV takes the field, I don't think we see much happening here.
You'd hope that they just take the deals and get out of there.
Right.
But while we have some time, I want to thank our crew for joining us tonight. Chloe Park, Molly McNish, Alex Schiff, Jonathan Varghese, Ella Barkley, Avery Hall, of course, Matthew Anderson, alongside myself.
Ben Parrish.
That's right. And it looks like that the Bruins are in the victory formation.
Garrett Niehoff to take the knee.
And he should just be one kneel away. And Andrew Reagan has just checked into the game for the Bruins. It's always a delight to see Andrew Reagan on the field, no matter what sport it is or the court for that matter. And that is the end. Cherry Creek will come away with the victory. Your final score, Cherry Creek 35, Santa Margarita 10. Of course, you'd like to thank Santa Margarita to make the trip over here to Greenwood Village after we made it down there last year. Heck of a series. The Bruins won both of them, though, in the last 2 years.
Creek and Santa Margarita are only engaged in a contract up until this year, but hopefully we can see, another matchup between them. It's definitely one of the better matchups we've seen on CCSN.
So the weather did not come into the play tonight, did not affect the game. Very well played game by the Bruins. As we said earlier on, they'll head to Mullen next week to open up the road schedule, but the Bruins are 2-1. For Matthew Anderson and our whole crew, I'm Benjamin Parrish. I'd like to thank you for joining us on the Cherry Creek Sports Network, and we'll see you next week.